Emma is a very lucky girl who has a very privileged background, and she kind of hasn't ever been told no in her life, ever. So she lives about, like, in this little world of dreams. And when we first meet her, she has, like, been bitten by the bug of matchmaking, and she finds that a way that she can put her energy, because she's just a bit bored, is in trying to make people happy by putting them together. And when a new girl comes to town, she sort of adopts her as a new puppy and decides that she really wants to make a match for her new friend. There's kind of a pressure that I have seen in period dramas where the female characters have to be easily likable. And I really wanted to stay true to what Austen said about her own character, which is, I've written a character that not many other people other than myself will like. And I wanted to bring that Emma to the forefront because I think it's so much more rewarding watching somebody whose flaws you're aware of go on a journey and redeem themselves by the end of it. And I also think that whilst people may like to say that they don't enjoy watching Emma behave badly, they enjoy watching Emma behave badly. Emma is so complicated and her emotions twist on a dime, and I was excited by that challenge. I also think people really like to put other people in boxes, and from my choices in the past, I always ended up in darker films, and so this was more an opportunity for me to show that I am an actor and I'm versatile. My first meeting with Autumn de Wilde is the best first date I've ever been on. We were supposed to just have lunch, and then we ended up walking around the West Village in New York for about 8 hours, just going into antique shops and just fangirling over each other, really. We instantly fell in love, and from the moment we met, we never really left the world of Emma. Emma is our love child together. You know, we really put so much thought into everything. It's not just an emotional journey, there's a hair journey, there's a costume journey, and it was really important to tell the story that way. I can't imagine anybody else directing it like this, because the thing about Austen is it is witty, it is supposed to be funny, but you're laughing not just with the characters but also at them, and Autumn really got that immediately. So there were elements of, you know, slapstick that we put in there, and we're kind of genre hopping all over the place, and it always felt special, and I think seeing the finished product, it was what we thought it was going to be. The clothes are also so fabulous. Our costume designer, Alexandra Byrne, is literally somebody that I want to be when I grow up. Like, she's the coolest woman ever. But she created all of these extravagant costumes that helped tell the story and helped, you know, glean information about the characters. And so if I'm wearing a coat that has an exceptional back, all of a sudden I'm acting, you know, over my shoulder to really show that. And that's something that Emma would have done because she really likes her clothes, and she likes to sit and position herself in good lighting and next to flowers and pretend she's a painting. So that really helped me. Autumn was very vocal in the casting, and she really picked the right people to play the right characters. And there's something really wonderful about her just trusting you to do the job that's been given to you. And so the conversations began with, how do you think she would feel in this? And then it's her job to sit back and just slowly guide and gradiate everything that's going on, just to make sure that it's tonally correct. But she really just followed us, which is wonderful. I have the most wonderful sister-mother relationship with Autumn, and she's very good at creating those bonds. So really important decisions about this movie were made, you know, with both of us having slippers and face masks and just like having a sleepover. And that's how we were, you know, making these choices. And I got to be a part of the casting process, which I'd never done before. And those chemistry reads were so much fun because it was unbelievable to be on the other side of, you know, that table and actually see how people make these kinds of decisions. I'm so grateful for her collaborative nature because I'd really love to be a filmmaker one day, and it just feels like she supports that full-heartedly, and I'm just really grateful that she let me come along on the ride with her. From the second that Johnny walked into the room, we were just so close. We had that brother-sister thing immediately, and we cared about each other very deeply, and it just meant that all of those arguments were so much fun to have. And that's truly the way that they court each other. They argue. It's a battle of wills, and you know, their intellect is on par completely. And I think whilst Johnny and I don't argue, we definitely have really long discussions about everything under the sun, and kind of come back at each other with all these different thoughts and ideas. And so it wasn't difficult to play that dynamic on screen. Mia Goth is a huge gift to my life. And when I first met Awesome, she had a wonderful box that had photographs of all of the different actors that she was thinking of playing these roles. And this is literally the first time Awesome and I had ever met. We didn't know anything about each other. And she pulled out a picture of Mia and said, "This girl just looks like she could be your best friend." And Mia and I had made a movie together 2 years prior and had become best friends and had supported each other through so much as Anya and Mia. So to have the opportunity to play best friends on screen, my most heartbreaking moments on set and my most tender moments belong to Mia, because the line between Anya and Emma and Harriet and Mia were so blurred. And so much of this film, there are moments that just like almost make me cry, because it's just the two of us having fun with one another, and they just happen to have been captured on screen. Bill is the closest approximation of a TV dad that I could ever have. Sorry, a film dad. And we just had so much fun together, and he's so caring about the people around him, and I just feel like I'm learning so much from him all the time. He also has the best music sense of anybody I've ever met, and every day you go into his trailer and he's playing like some cracking tunes, and you just sit down and have coffee and talk about the world. Our Lady is entitled and, you know, handsome, clever, rich, and believes it, knows it. She's never really been told no, very spoilt, loves her father so much, but that relationship's not entirely helpful either, because he lets her get away with absolutely everything. And yeah, she has this concept of the world, because she's not really attached to the reality of it, as everything is her doll's house, and she can pull all of the strings and make everybody do what she wants. And I think she's actually quite afraid of ever leaving Highbury, because that's where she feels safe, and she knows that she's a big fish in a little pond, so has no desire to go to London, no desire to go anywhere else, just wants to play in her pretty little world. I love her so much, and I take real pride in her good moments, and when she's childish and naive, I really feel for her, and I'm like, oh, Emma, you're so young, you're just so young. But no, I absolutely adore her now. It's going to be so difficult to get rid of her. I've never done a job before where I've been so aware of absolutely every single thing on my body and all of my surroundings as a way to tell the story. So if you're wearing a coat that has an incredible back, as Emma, you know she knows it's got an incredible back. So all of a sudden I'm delivering the line over my shoulder, showing the back of the coat. Do you know what I mean? It's a totally different element and a different layer to being able to tell a story. And there are definitely moments where I've kind of woken up from my dream-like state and thought, I'm in a glass carriage. Like, I'm actually in a carriage made of glass, like Cinderella or something like that. And you look around and everything is so sumptuous and so beautiful. It's very important to, you know, really kind of state that it's not that it's just being directed by women, it's that it's being directed by Awesome. Like, Awesome is the perfect person for this movie. And going on to set every single day, she's collected a group of people that all are so sensitive, so loving, so dedicated to their job, that you really feel you can go in there and try anything and you're going to have a safe environment. You know, she runs up to me when I'm feeling stressed and puts lavender oil behind my ears, or like gives me, you know, natural herbal remedies that are like brain drops or something like that. She's completely and utterly unique, and the gentleness and the love of beauty, the beauty in everybody that she has brought to this, it's unlike any film I've ever done before in my life. And I think the gentleness that she has towards Emma as well, the understanding that she has of, she's been a young woman, she's had a best friend that she was so close to but also kind of wanted to control. You know, we recognize ourselves in these characters, and in Autumn recognizing herself, I think she's allowed us to tell the story truthfully. It's all been so natural. Like, I'm not even sure I said yes to this job. Do you know what I mean? It was all just, it was going to happen. It was every single person. Like, we have so many weird coincidences on set of all of our paths have crossed before, or we have people in common, or experiences that we just share so much. This is a really fated project. Mr. Woodhouse is incredibly paranoid about absolutely everything and thinks that the plague is lurking under every flower, and she really settles him down and takes care of him and mollycoddles him in a way, but not in a way that's necessarily patronizing. I think it comes off that way sometimes, but he doesn't feel patronized by her. He just feels taken care of, which is all he wants to be. And in turn, you know, Emma twirls around in front of him in pretty dresses, and he's like, oh, you're the most beautiful thing in the entire world. The scenes with Bill, whom I adore so much as a person, I could not love that man anymore if I tried. They were always really fun to do because we'd get to kind of mirror those relationships. You know, we'd get to really play with each other and take things up a whole bunch of notches, take it down, and then when you have the emotionally heartbreaking scenes that are just raw and open, because there's been all of this kind of fluff around them for a while, you just really see that the connection is just that she will never leave her father. And I think that's a very strong choice to make. What's fantastic to play from an actor's point of view, and just really fun for me in general, between Emma and Mr. Knightley, is they're the only two characters that actually match each other intellectually. So Emma's so whip smart that she just kind of steamrolls everybody. She can manipulate absolutely anyone. And Mr. Knightley is very strong in his convictions and incredibly intelligent and very morally conscious. And when the two of them come together, he's the only one brave enough to call her out and say, you're being a brat. You know, you have done this, and they will fight till the end of time over who's right. Those scenes with Frank also are really fun, and Callum, CT, Big Brother for life, adore him.